So let's talk about resilience. You see, I am back here because of resilience, and I want to share my method with you. So today's show is going to be about the RX method for 1 billion lives. So this is my mission today. It's my birthday, and I am so excited because sometimes when we talk about resilience, people don't understand what we're talking about. Imagine this. What if your work, your relationship, and your health could be RX? You see, just like a prescription, you go to the doctor and they give you a prescription, right? That's an RX. They've prescribed something. That's the word. But in my work, that RX is for resilience. Come on, people. Resilience. Imagine living in a world where burnout, conflict, and health breakdowns, mental illnesses are no longer inevitable. Where it's not, I'm a statistic and this is going to happen because it happened to everybody else and I have to, it's possible and it's possible. But what can I do? Do I just have to be a victim of what's going on? That's my mission. So my mission is to apply the WISRx method to 1 billion lives. And I want to ask for your help because today's my birthday and I should be able to ask for anything, right? So let me share with you exactly how I started this and why I think it's so important for everyone on the planet who is able to understand how to RX their lives. That whole resilience index. So I'm bringing that WIS resilience index, the prescription, the diagnosis, then the intervention, and then, of course, the transformation, because that's what happens, right? Why would you get a prescription if you're not going to do anything about it? And this is exactly why I am back here, because an hour ago, I was scheduled to do my live show. And I did my entire show. And guess what? I like to touch my things. And so I touched my mic and I turned off the button. And I didn't notice that I turned off the button and my mic wasn't recording. So I was talking and it was recording, but you couldn't hear anything. So thank you for those of you who sent me messages and I was so busy talking that I didn't see. And for my team members that did everything to get my attention. And yeah, so I am back. And this is resilience. This is bouncing back. This is resilience at the heart of it. You have to choose to get, I could just say, oh, well, I guess it wasn't meant to be. I shouldn't have done the show. But it's my birthday. I should have just taken a day off. Maybe I wasn't meant to. I was like, hell no. This is too important. Because this is exactly how I live my life. No fear. Do what needs to be done. Take care of business. Because I have a prescription for resilience. And I'm going to share that with you. So those of you who haven't heard me before, I'm Joyce Edison. I'm so excited to be here. I host the Resilience Catalyst show. Formerly, What's Happening at Work. Now we're focusing on resilience. And I'm going to tell you why. If you haven't heard my show before, I do solo episodes. I bring on speakers from time to time. I do a lot of research. I've authored 7 books. I have certification programs, and I'm going to be sharing with you why I know we need the RX method. So just hang tight because this is so important. You know, I am back here recording because I want to demonstrate this WISRx method to you. It's no sound, go away and it wasn't meant to be, or I have a message that's important to the world and nothing is going to prevent me from sharing it, right? So, if you want to reclaim your health, your life, your career, your relationship, then you need to be listening to this show. And especially if you want to reclaim your well-being in emotional, mental, social, in any area of your life, you need to be listening to the show, because I am done soft messages. I'm only going to tell you the truth, the hard, cold truth. That's my birthday present to myself. And those of you who know me, you're probably saying, but you always do that. Les, I'm taking it to the next level, because you know what? It's important. It is important for you to know the truth. So let me explain my proprietary RX method. You see, when I started my career, 30 years ago, I started dabbling in my work, and officially 28 years ago, I launched my business. And I have been very blessed, very immensely blessed to be doing the work that I've been called to do, that I know it's my gifting and what I should do on the planet. And I am absolutely amazingly aware of that and so thankful. And so I asked myself, what am I going to do on my birthday? And I'm like, I am going to share with the world why I've been put on the planet, what I've been doing, and how I can help them. And with your permission, thank you for the happy birthday wish. Let us get busy. So early in my practice, I used to do divorce mediation. And if you know anything about people who get in divorce, they're not nice to each other. So I was terrified most of the time. I was like, oh, these people are going to come fight again. Da, 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 da. Lo and behold, a client had a heart attack in my office in a nasty divorce mediation. And that sowed a seed in my life. That's when I started to realize conflict isn't just about you and me. It's actually affecting the entire system. It's affecting me spiritually, socially, emotionally, intellectually, environmentally. You see, even when the conflict is at work, it's still as invasive. And so I've spent most of my career helping leaders and their teams to navigate toxic workplace conflict, to reestablish communication and collaboration, to rebuild hope, revitalize, and to move forward. So it's a lot of resilience teaching. Even when I go in and they're like, Joyce, we've given up hope on that department. They will never get it. We've had so many other people come in and tried to fix them. But I was like, well, I am not here to fix them. I'm here to show them the path to resilience and invite them to join me on it. So that has always been my motto. I remember I had a client who came and she said to me, they sent me here for you to fix me. And at that time, I didn't have our WISRx Method platform, which I'll share with you. We only had this little booklet. So they would come in to my office one-on-one, and they would do the assessment, and they would see their results, and they'd be going, Joyce, I don't like my results. What do I do to change my numbers? How can I change my numbers? And then we would get in the conversation. I always believe that you don't fix people. You invite people. You give them an invitation to see something, a different possibility, a different option. And you give them the opportunity to contemplate what their life could be with this other option. And then they buy in. Then they are self-enrolling, because otherwise we're fixing people and we're telling them what to do, and nobody likes that. They resist. Nobody wants to be told. It doesn't matter how dumb you think someone is, they still don't want you to tell them what to do. They want to self-enroll. And we spend our life fighting and trying to fix people, and you should do this. And they just want you to show them another option and give them the opportunity to choose whether or not they want to take that option. And this is definitely what this show is all about. So let me share with you exactly why. When I started to see the toxic conflicts and I started to see how people were responding to it and they were getting sick, we had diabetes, we had angina, we had strokes, heart attack, like hypertension. It was everything. Mental health, suicidal attacks. And I was just like attempts. And I would be like, what is going on? And I remembered that it was put in my spirit that I wasn't sent just to resolve conflict. My purpose was to help people transform themselves. And as I did that, I reflected on that. I started to put together little boxes and little arrows. And here's how you can, when you're in conflict, these are the things that are happening. This is how it's impacting your life, first, etc., etc. So I didn't really understand what I was called to do. I just knew that I wanted to help people. And I just knew that I was called to do this. So I was doing it with all my heart. And then I realized we needed a system. Yep, a system. So in my work, this formula is healing not just one part of your life, but the entire system. And it's include the spiritual, the social, the emotional, occupational, intellectual, environmental. We look at the financial, the physical, and the interpersonal. Because guess what? Bam, I'm in the interpersonal. And what we notice as conflict analysts when we work with people interpersonally, everything falls down there. If people are upset, if they're angry, they're frustrated, they're lonely, it always ends up with an interpersonal impact. And that was significant in the understanding of what I do. And then I used to jump into resolving conflict and I would send employees back. They would be like, oh, Joyce, you have to help this, this conflict. And I would go, sometimes it's between a leader and a boss. I would resolve the conflict and they go back to the situation where it's two employees and I realized this wasn't working for anyone. The system becomes toxic because of the people's behavior. The conflict will infiltrate and affect the culture. So we need to fix the system, right? It's an ecosystem. And when there is conflict and toxicity, bad energy, negativity, bullying, harassment, it infects the entire environment. So we have to clean the environment. We need to restore, revitalize. And that's the whole resilience strategy, to repurpose and re-engage and to recreate a whole new environment. And I had one leader, he came to me one time and he was struggling with his team and he was having so many issues. And he said to me, Joyce, this system, you've opened a part of my brain that will never close again. I didn't see it as a system. I just saw myself. I saw the employees, each here, there. I didn't realize how interconnected and interrelated it all was. So now that I know, I'm going to make different decisions. I'm going to be acting differently. I'm going to have different thoughts, different perspectives. And this is how transformation happens. When something happens to us, transformational learning theory tells us that no matter what happens in our life, it doesn't matter how toxic, it doesn't matter how terrible, we should learn from it. That's the whole idea. If we keep making the same mistakes, we're not being resilient. We're just repeating ourselves. Resilience is when you learn from that, you come back, you revitalize, you take on a new strategy. And that's what the WISRx Method is all about. It's being able to recognize that it has to be. And that's what I realize, because This is not something you throw at somebody. Oh, you need to be more resilient. Go and be more resilient. No, no. You have to create a picture of what it could be, what the possibility is. And then your employees, your leaders, your partner will say, I think I want more of that. I like that. How can it be like this? What do I need to do to, like my clients would say when they come here with their little workbook, right? And they would say, Joyce, how can I fix my numbers? How can I change my numbers? I don't like it. That's what the RX method is. Because when we go to the doctor and he give us a prescription, what do? We put it in our calendar, take twice a day, because we went to the doctor. We wanted a diagnosis. We didn't like what was happening, right? It was painful. So we went to the doctor. He gave us a prescription. Now we put it in our life. We want to remove the pain. So we diligently put it in our calendar, or our calendar beeped. Oh, time to take my medication, right? That's how it goes. That's what we do. And so my mission is to ensure that our 9-dimensional well-being intelligence system, and let me tell you about this system. When I created the tool, I didn't understand the power of it. I didn't understand all that it could do. I just thought, it was, the interpersonal wellness, it's a system. And I keep learning from it. It keeps teaching me. And it's the spiritual, the social, the emotional, the occupational, the intellectual, environmental, financial, physical, and the interpersonal. And then you're like, oh, it's all interconnected. And truly speaking, clients helped me to see more and more, because they were telling me, Joyce, I got that from it. Joyce, I got this. And when I started doing my coach training program and teaching coaches, they would say to me, Joyce, I learned this from it. I use it with my clients, and they had this aha moment. And then I would share it with other people, and they would tell me, oh, I have new awareness. I didn't know this was happening. This is the power of the system. It's supposed to invite transformation. So when it's supposed to create such intelligence that people are forced to do something. It's just like they're motivated, empowered, and they feel they need to do something because they have all this intelligence about themselves. That's the whole idea. It's the well-being intelligence system. And that gives you the ability to see how resilient you are in these 9 dimensions of your life. The choices you're making every day, where you're leaking vital energy, what's taken away from your mental health and wellness, what's taken away from your peace, your calm, your ability to function. How are you doing with the money situation in your life? How are you doing with the relationship aspect of your life? Such rich information, intelligence, right? There's a difference between information and intelligence. Intelligence give you that power to act. Information, you can just information, nice to know, but intelligence takes it to the next level. And that's what we do. So my mission for my birthday, I know I'm going to tell you, because when we do the resilience, the whole well-being intelligence system, we get a resilience index score that gives us such intelligence about ourselves in these 9 dimensions of your life. And it helps you to see the hidden resilience risk. What are the risks that are hidden that I cannot see? That's why we need intelligence, right? It's for the things we cannot see. There's lots of information, but intelligence is not that available. So we need to dig deeper to get the intelligence, because we can RX our lives, our relationships, our careers, our wealth. You can rebuild anything in your life. You just need to know where to focus your energy. That's the purpose. That's why I'm on the mission to RX 1 billion lives. This is my mission. And this is my birthday gift to myself. And this is why I'm sharing this with you. And in my previous recording that you couldn't hear, I was talking about the the whole ripple effect, right? When we do workplace wellness, how one healthy, resilient leader influences the entire teams. These teams go home happier to their families. They are more well equipped and more mentally and socially ready to lend to their community, support their community. The opposite is just as true. When we have a leader who is not resilient, who is not leading well, that can deflate employees. So they go home exhausted and they have no energy left to give to their community. So it's that whole rippling effect. And that is the RX method that we're teaching. The WISRx Method is the prescription for resilience in our lives, but something we are looking for, not something that's thrown upon us, right? It's that whole ecosystem of work and life and relationship that needs to come together. How do you go to work and cheat on your spouse and expect not to have some karma? It's a system. If you're cheating on your spouse at work, are the people at work going to trust you? Anybody with intelligence at work is going to say, oh, this person is not trustworthy. I need to watch my back with them. So it's like we don't recognize the consequences of our choices and the bigger impact, the rippling effect that it has. So these are some of the things that I'm seeing when I'm working with leaders, that they're making decisions and not realizing the impact it's going to have on the larger ecosystem of their lives. And so the pattern that I'm noticing is they're miserable at work, they're miserable at home. And I'm like, have mercy. No wonder our mental health is depleted, because you could have some place that's safe. But if you don't know how to be resilient, if you don't have a method for resilience, a prescription for resilience in your life, you don't have the skills to bring it into your work either. So miserable life, miserable work life, they go hand in hand. Resilient employees become resilient leaders, resilient team members, because they have the code. They know what to do. They know the method. They know how to activate it in those areas of their lives, in the 9 dimensions. So they're not just seeing work as, oh, I go to work. When I go to work, I go to work. And then I leave work and then I'm another person. No. You can pretend you are. You can imagine you are. A good friend of mine, Sylvia, always says, your issues are in your tissues. It's there. It's not an impact. It's not going to go away. It follows you wherever you go. So let me explain a little bit about the RX method in action. So there are 3 pillars. The diagnostic tool, the well-being intelligence system. You go in and measure how well you're doing and what your resilience index is in all the 9 dimensions. And then there's the prescription, right? Here's what you need to do over the next 30 days. Here's how you need to build out. Here are the things you need to stop doing more of, or start doing, right? It's all part of that. Then there's the revitalization. This is the ongoing support, so we don't fall back into our old pattern. Because that's the problem with us in life. We know what we need to do. It's funny. I was speaking to a couple the other day, and they were looking for tools to take their marriage to the next level. They said, we're not in marriage prison because we don't know what to do. We're in marriage hell because we don't have the discipline to do what we need to do. Or we don't know how to create a structure for us to do what we need to do. So we don't know what we need to do. We're just not doing it because we don't have the right structure or the discipline. Sometimes even with the structure, you need the discipline. But structure, as we know as coaches, help us to maintain and be disciplined to do the things we need to do. So if you're coaching, you need to ensure that you have the structure for that. So what you need to do is to ask yourself, do you like what's happening in your life now? Is there an area of your life where you're what's painful, you're miserable at work, you don't like your boss, you don't like your coworkers, you're not getting along in your team, you're not feeling that you're participating and that you're having the ability to contribute to your team the way you do, or you hate your job, or you don't like your spouse, you're not getting along in your marriage, you're fighting like cats and dogs. Wherever it is in your life, I want to tell you today on my birthday that you can apply the RX method. The WISRx Method will give you the resilience prescription to redo and revitalize your life in any area. It's not impossible. People always ask me, Joyce, how come you're da 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 da? I was like, I am applying the WISRx Method to my life. Hello? Do I look silly? Am I going out there and prescribing something for others and not doing it for myself? I do it. And my poor children, this has been their life sentence. From they know themselves, we've applied it. And I'm like, oh, my friend, I was like, this is what we do. These are the life principles we practice. And know that they're adults in their own lives. It's the same principles they practice to become successful adults. These are the principles. Apply it in your marriage. Apply it in your relationship. Apply it with you as a leader. Apply it with your team. You're fighting with your team. Somebody's bullying you, harassing you. You need an RX method. You need to find out how you get that inner strength and courage. You need to be feeding yourself some new things so you can step out and assert yourself the way you need to. Because nobody is going to come to save you. Sorry. To be the bearer of bad news. We are the managers of our life. So life is not supposed to manage us. We're supposed to manage our lives. And you'll notice I didn't tell you there is a link to click to get anything because I don't believe that's the way it should go. I'm not giving you any link. If you truly feel the pain and you want to get out of where you are, then DM me, message me. If you're watching this as a replay, if you're seeing this in time, message me in this video or DM me at joyceodidison.com and tell me, Joyce, I want the WISRx method. I want that intelligence in my life. I want to understand my well-being. I want to understand that whole resilience index. I want that in my life because I want to be confident. I want to know what I know and know how I can do it. And I want to be fearless in my life so that no matter what comes, I can step up. I know how to pick myself up if and when I fall. Because I have the tools, I have the intelligence and the framework. This is what you get from the WIS Resilience Method. And our event is coming. The RX Method Summit is coming. Yes, the WISRx Method is coming this fall. And many of you know that I've done the Global Workplace Wellness Summit for 7 years. We're switching. We're going to the WISRx Method because it's more than just workplace wellness. Too often I'm seeing employees who with SLS in their life, right? SLS. The first time I heard of SLS, it was when we had an emergency doctor who had come into our coach training certification. We're certifying coaches. And they're like, Joyce, and she said, Joyce, this is so informative. I wish I could prescribe this for my emergency patients. And I was like, who are coming with SLS? I was like, oh, I've never heard of that syndrome before. What is SLS? She said, it's shitty life syndrome. And I was like, oh, I see. Yeah. So if you have any form of SLS in any of your 9 dimensions, work, life, play, and you truly want to clean it up, then you're going to message me and ask me for a key so you can assess that area of your life. Because I want you to have the most fabulous year. And next year, when my birthday comes, I'm going to ask you, where have you gone in the last 12 months? What's changed for you? Because if you don't do anything about it now, it's going to be the same place you are right now is where it's going to be. And look out for events coming up in November, where we're going to have 3 days of RXing our lives, taking out the toxicity in our life, our career, our relationships, so we can truly revitalize and we can thrive. Because I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for my friends. I want that for my relatives. We deserve it. We deserve it. You work so hard. I see leaders who work so hard and have nothing to show for it besides pain at work. I see employees who give everything and then are like, oh, I can't believe this is happening. Yes, you deserve the very best. And I'm committed to helping you to RX your life, your work, and your relationships. So go ahead and message me. Ask me, Joyce, I want to know more about your RX method. I want the key. And I will share you the link, because I'm deliberately not going to offer you a link today, because I think people should want to have that in their life, and they should put their hand up like my clients do. And they say, Joyce, please, I don't like my numbers. How do I change it? I want you to have the same experience, because in order for us to transform, we have to learn from every aspect of our life. And a few years back, I was doing a keynotes, and right after the keynotes, I had this woman, Deb. She was like, Joyce, I love your model. I love your model. I love the whole system, because they had been funded to create the staff mental health program in Ohio. And she was with Miami University in Ohio, and they were going to do it across 75 schools. And she's like, we need a model for our staff wellness program. And through that process, that conversation, we were able to go in and be part of their pilot project and certify 21 facilitators on the model on how to bring that RX concept into the schools for the staff to shift the mental health crisis. This is possible. This can be done. And now it's integrated into their program, right? It's possible. But we need to want it. You need to ask for it. And this is what I want to instill in you today. So if you don't like some area of your life, don't just sit there and look at it and think it's going to go away, because a year from now, it's going to be right there watching you, or gotten worse. It's time to RX it. So let's get you started to RX and change the situation, because you can do it. I believe you can. This is Joyce Odidison here with the Resilience Catalyst Show. Thank you so much for listening. And I want to empower you to just take that step and put the RX method to your life, because you deserve it. You deserve to have a happy, fulfilling life in your work, in your career, in your leadership, wherever you are, whatever you look like, or wherever you are on the planet. I want you to take your life to the next level. Joyce Odidison here. I will see you in the next episode. Bye now.